Alright, so that box I just showed you, we're gonna open her up, see what we got in there. So we got bunches of boxes like this from that pickup that we have to sort through and take everything out of. So I figure I'll let y'all sort with me. We did get a whole lot of old computer cable. Of course, that's going to be gold ends. I think it's 25 cents a pound right now. But these big ones, they add up real fast. This cable will go into 55 because that's what our yard takes it as. But there's the other end. So basically I just take it and grab a hold of it and cut it. As you can tell, that's a real cable. Put this with the ends that I'll sort through later, because I don't have enough boxes sitting here to be able to separate everything right now. Cable goes to the cable stack. I think pretty much everybody knows this right here. If I can get it out, that's the end that plugs into the computer or basically transformer, power converter, or whatever for a laptop. So that's drop cord wire. Any power wire like this has transformer on the end, goes to something that's going to be power wire as well, drop cord wire. So that goes the same. Any power cord going to the actual item, you treat the same. It doesn't really matter if it's some huge gold pins in this. Doesn't really matter what size it is. Look at that. Some big old gold pins. I guess they're not, I guess they're pins, but not really. But as you can see, sorting wire is not hard, just takes a little bit of time. And it does add up pretty fast. I've got, I'm gonna guess, 1, 2, 3, 4 55-gallon drums full of it. And just from doing pickups, they're like, oh, do you take wires? I'm like, yeah, throw them in there. Stuff adds up real quick. Even if it's not your favorite thing, if you do 10-15 pounds of wire a day, you know, in 10 days you've got 150 pounds of wire. You can do this while you're watching TV, while you're chewing the fat, as the older folks used to call it, with your friends and stuff. There's something I'll tear apart later, see what's in it. And I'm gonna tell you, this pickup gave me all kinds of cool stuff. So I mean, here we've got a mouse that goes in the shred. It's not worth taking the time to take apart. It's really nothing in it. I think it's like one IC chip, something like that. Here's your other computer wires. Most of your computer wires have these on them. This is to help cut down the interference in transmitting through the line. And it's ferrous. It's a ferrite magnet, basically. Non-ferrous, maybe I should say. Shred. Take the end, cut it off, goes into gold, that goes into 55. So luckily our yard just takes it that way, and it's not hard. You know, it's basically 55 or it's everything else. I'm sorry. It's either 55 or drop cord. So, and I mean, little things like this, I know it's not going to be much in there. It's a wireless RF, but it's kind of neat to take them apart, just to see what makes them run, what makes them work. Because somebody at some point thought up the idea of how to make that stuff work, and well, I just like to see what they thought up. Not that I understand it, but power wire for a computer again. And see, you can sell these power wires or some of these other wires, but I mean, you need lots of space. And I get people all the time, oh, you can sell that on eBay, you can sell that. Well, first off, I don't know how to do eBay. I'm not very computer literate. I mean, y'all watch my videos, they're not special. I've learned a little here and there, but I've got a long way to go. And you gotta have room, and I already don't have room. Now, if it gets to the point that I have a bunch of room, okay, I might try to sell some of this stuff or whatever. But okay, so here's something different. I don't even know what this is. I'll probably have to look this up. So it's got like a keyboard plug on one end, and it jumps a jumper, so it's got that plug as well. I'm assuming that's some type of foot pedals. That's quite interesting. It says no hands mouse cursor. This may have been for, yes, this side clicks. Maybe for somebody with a disability or something. That I will lay aside. If I find somebody who needs it, I'll just ship it to them. I'm not going to charge them for that. I'm just happy to be able to pick up something that'll help somebody like that, you know. I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but my grandpa was paralyzed from the neck down, and he actually lived 30 some years that way. He passed away my last year of middle school, so I got to grow up with him and learn from him. My grandma took care of him around the clock, and I think this is part of the reason why I enjoy scrapping. He wasn't really a scrapper, but we would get stuff that we didn't need anymore or that was broken, and we'd take it apart, and he'd walk me through step by step, because all he could move was like from here up, and he didn't have full mobility of his neck either. And so he would tell me step by step, you know, third screw from the left or fourth screw from the right or whatever, and we just step by step go through whatever it is, take it apart, see what made it work, see if we could figure out what was wrong with it and could fix it. And you know, he taught me, you know, kind of about the way of life. I spent my summers with my grandparents. It's a nice little wireless keyboard.
Rock bottle on the track, boy.
While my dad was at work, and I spent some holidays and stuff with him, but my grandma took care of him 24/7, and if the weather was right, which it had to be like 80 degrees or he couldn't go outside, and he'd go outside and chase me around in his electric wheelchair. He could move it with his head, act like he was trying to run me over, knowing there's no way he could ever catch me. But I thought it was the greatest thing in the world, because we had a paved driveway and I was on my bike, you know. And you know, he taught me a lot. Even though he couldn't take care of himself and all, he still enjoyed learning, enjoyed the people around him. That's where I learned to enjoy animals from, and stuff like that, because he watched the I believe it was National Geographic back then that would come on, which it still comes on, but you know, it's not quite the same as it used to be. And we'd sit around and watch that stuff. He'd watch the news, which I never really picked up on. I care less about the news, to be honest with you. It's just not my thing. The more I watch it, the more I feel like everybody's just lying to you. So I go out here and figure it out on my own. Get the weather off my cell phone, you know, keep on strolling. But yeah, he taught me how to prune trees, plant flowers, and all kinds of stuff like that, just by talking to me and talking me through it, and having the patience to be able to sit there and talk to me and talk me through it. I'm sure there was times he would have liked to jump up out of his chair and throw me out of the way and do it himself, but he couldn't. And we got there, you know, slow and steady, but we got there. So I've always enjoyed seeing what makes what work, and learning new things like he did. He'd read books and stuff, and super patient. I think that's where I learned my patience from. He would walk by, well, he'd be sitting in the living room in his chair, and anytime somebody walked by, he'd be like, "Hey, grab that page for me." And you flip the page and he'd go right back to reading, and you look in there a little later, he'd just be sitting there watching TV or doing whatever, watching the flies fly around, or thinking about how to build something for our next adventure or whatever. And when somebody walked through there, he'd, "Hey, flip the page for me, please." And you'd flip it and keep going, and he'd be right back to reading. So sorry, video's so long. I didn't mean for it to be that long, but he was a big influence in my life. I got to spend quite a bit of time with him, and him and my grandma both. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like to try to help others and recycle and do things like that. I don't really run up and down the road and do stuff. I'm more of a homebody. There's plenty for me to do at home other than run up and down the road and waste gas and burn money. So that's what I do. And if I can help the environment and other people while I'm at it and make $1 or $2, I'll do it. I've tried to teach my kids some of this, but it's not quite the same, you know, for them. They'll mess around with it for a little while and then they get bored, which I understand. I was a kid too. I still have problems sitting still, but that's why I do stuff. My time in the military has given my body a what for, and I don't do well sitting still, but I don't do too good moving either. So I have to kind of do a back and forth. That's why I don't sit in people's live streams long. It requires me to sit still, and I can't do it. So I just pop in for a second, say hi, and go on about my business most of the time. Now if I happen to be sitting still because I have to for something, then you know, I may stay a little longer, but you know I don't like to sit still. But anyway, a little bit about my life story there. I'm not even sure where it came from, but now y'all know what I'm about, and where I'm from and how I was raised. And feel free to toss your life story out there too if you want. So I'll bring y'all back. Actually no, I'm just going to end this one. The one I did before, I'll just make that the actual video for the other, whatever. Brain quit. I have those issues. Anyway, hope y'all are doing good, and we'll see you next video.